Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining in today. So I welcome you all. So you can also send anything in chat section. So welcome. First of all, I like to welcome you to the MyWays session that you take your time and come to the session as per in the evening, Saturday evening. That it's a really good thing to host you today. So I hope the every like you will learn and gain some value from the today's session. So I would like to introduce today's speaker. So today's speaker is Mr. Pranav Agarwal. He is currently working in Infosys as a SG. He's a very good mentor in mean stack. He has a very good experience in mean stack, so he will teach you solve your doubts also. Also, now I would like to introduce about MyWays. Also, you may know about it, but I will give you a brief introduction of MyWays. So we are a career platform where we actually make dedicated to make you yourself an experienced freshers. So for the experience, so for making it experienced freshers, we also have a one new program or initiative known as My Gurukul, where we can get you placed without cost, or you can say at no cost. So I'll let you know about it after some time, like at the end of session. So we also have like some of hiring tests which are live, and I would request you to stay till end. So when I will send you all these test links which are live, and you can actually give it and be selected for your next job. So I'd like to give a stage to Mr. Pranav Agarwal. Thank you so much, Pranav, for joining us today and mentoring our students. I would like, yeah, so I now stage is all yours. You can start.
Hello everyone. I am Pranav Agarwal, and I would like to thank MyWays for giving me a chance to interact with all of you. So, I will the flow start with the flow of the session. First of all, we will know some things about mean stack, how mean stack works, what are the different technologies in mean stack, and then we will have a small demo about how mean stack works, about the front end and the back end. So I have prepared a short PPT for all of you. So this is a mean stack masterclass. So my journey. So I'm currently working in Infosys as a digital specialist engineer, and I'm working in mean stack technologies. Now all of you must be wondering what is mean stack, how does it work, right? So let's get to know more about it. But before this, we should get to know about a full stack developer. Who is a full stack developer? So in web development, we have two aspects. One is front end, one is back end. We have heard we have different HDE backend, HDE front end, but a full stack developer knows about both front end and back end. They also know about database, DevOps, and different things. But we are not required to know everything. But we should be aware of what is happening in the front end and the back end. Basically, we have to be expert in any one and get to know the basics and more about it in other one. So I will introduce you to mean stack. What is mean stack? So mean stack basically consists of four things. M is our Mongo DB, E is Express.js, A is Angular, and N is Node.js. So basically front end is consisting of our Angular code base, and backend is for Node.js and MongoDB, right? So MongoDB is a NoSQL database, and Angular is a framework. And Node.js is the middleware that connects our front end and database, also known as backend. So let's start with MongoDB. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database and is open source. It is highly scalable and flexible for horizontal and vertical scaling. Now you must be wondering what is horizontal and vertical scaling. So horizontal scaling is we basically add more CPUs, RAM to our server to increase the data. And how is it different from SQL? SQL databases are relational databases, right? They have a predefined schema and everything. So what are the features of MongoDB? Why is it preferred? First of all, ad hoc queries, load balancing, sharding, indexing, and it is easy to use. But what are the cons with respect to MySQL? In SQL, we are very free to generate complex queries. But in MongoDB, we have somewhat a limitation. We cannot create a lot of complex queries, right? Next is Express.js. Express.js is a framework of Node.js. Before that, we should know what is Node.js and what was the need of Node.js. So Node.js is an open source environment which allows us to run JavaScript on the server. So why was it required when we have Java and Python already running for backend languages? So Node.js was introduced because we have JavaScript in the front end. We have HTML, CSS, JS, React, Vue, a lot of frameworks and libraries. So we were already using JavaScript in client side. So it was easy to use JavaScript in server side. That's why Node.js was introduced. And in quite a lot of time, in a few time, Node.js has gained a lot of popularity. Like how? A lot of companies have migrated their databases and backend codes to Node.js. Like for some examples include Walmart, PayPal, they all have their backend code in Node.js. So what are the important features? We already know JavaScript is available in server side. So we don't need to learn an additional language in backend, right? So we are using JavaScript. Next is cross-platform compatibility. What is this? We can run Node.js across Android, iOS, and anything, mobile website. Everything can be run with a help of Node.js. It is highly scalable. It is also single-threaded, but it also provides asynchronous. What is asynchronous? If we are having we are running one function, right, and it is waiting for input. So what this thing does, it executes other functions till that time, and when we get the input, our previous function is run. So this is how asynchronous works. Now we get to Express.js. Express.js is fast, unopinionated, and minimalist framework of Node.js. What exactly does this mean? So whenever we write code in Node.js, it is like 10 lines. But what Express does is it writes in 2 to 3 lines. So we have an advantage, right? Next is it is very simple to set up and personalize. Uh, in error handling, it allows a couple of middlewares, or you can say a wide variety of middlewares for Express. They are error handling. We have different HTTP modules. We have request loggers, error loggers. So that's why Express.js is preferred. There are also different, we have different frameworks like Nest and Next.js. But in mean stack we use Express. Now comes Angular. So Angular is a TypeScript based and an open source web application framework used to develop laptop and mobile friendly website. What exactly does this mean? What is TypeScript? So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. What was the need of TypeScript? We know in JavaScript we cannot identify compile time errors. So in order to achieve this, we made TypeScript. Angular is made by Google, right? So they developed TypeScript and we use it so that we can find a lot of errors at the compile time. It is a framework. So, and it can be used easily to develop mobile and laptop friendly websites. So now some important topics in Angular. Services. Services, what are services? Services is a part through which we can connect front end with the backend. So also one more thing, what was the need of backend, right? In of Angular, right? So anyone would like to answer this? Anyone from the audience? You can unmute and speak. You can share it in the chat option. Okay. Okay. So Angular uses single page applications. What is single page application and what was its need? First of all, we can also develop websites using our basic technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But when we make the website, it always, whenever we change or refresh the page, it sends the request to the server, fetches all the data, and renders it again in the browser. So we introduce single page application. What is single page application? Let me show you. If we open YouTube and we open any channel, here this channel is, right? You can see this is routing basically. youtube.com/c/take you forward. In in our basic technologies, we have to see all these screens. We have to send all the data and render it. But for an example, if I click videos, right, the URL is refreshed and only this much part is changed. This part, right? This part, the place where we are having our cover image, join, subscribed, remain intact. Our left panel bar, all these things remained intact. So these are the benefits of a single page application. If I go to playlist, only this component is refreshed. So it helped in making our website fast than usual, right? Okay. Let's continue. We get to Angular, we got to know. We got to know all of the mean stack technologies. Now let's have a how to steps for a project. How to make a good project. Has anyone any idea about this? Anyone from the audience? So first of all, we have to select a tech stack. What are the requirements for the project? If I'm making an e-commerce website, what all do I need? I need a shopping cart. I need payment option. I need different categories. I need data to be filtered by price, right? We have to gather all the requirements. Next is we have to set up our database. So let's make a small project and follow the steps. What are the requirements? We have to make a list of users with their name and age. Okay, these are our requirements. So first of all, we will make database connection. I have already installed Mongo DB. So first of all, let's start the Mongo DB instance. And this is the shell we can do all of our MongoDB stuff, right? What is the next step? We have to write a server code for this part. Okay, so let's make a new project for this. So I'm using Express to make a project. Now, one of the benefits, we have something called Express Generator. You can download it through Node Package Manager, right? It is a library which helps Node library which helps us to download everything. Like you can download Angular, React, TypeScript, everything from NPM, also known as Node Package Manager. So I'm using Express. First of all, I have to change the directory. So I'm creating an Express project. We can rename it dummy main class. Okay. The project is configured. Now, next part is to open this project. Our project is up and running. This has set up all the basic things we would like for our application. Next, we open the terminal and install the libraries using npm install. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to, or sometimes less, depending on how heavy our project is and not. We made the project. So Express provides us a default structure for the Node.js code, app.js. They have written a code for us, but we will discard it for now. We will make our own code, own server. There is something called as routes. Okay, so we will write the routes there. First of all, we will like to import Express. Okay, then all the data that comes to us in Node is in the form of JSON. So we need to download a body parser library. Next is we will make a variable app and make it equal to Express. So what this do is in the app variable we have assigned the Express part to app. Now our node port runs on the port 3000. So we will define the port for all cells, right? Next, we will use body parser in our code. Y.json because we have to parse JSON data every time. So now this is the code for making the server, right? App.listen. This is basically the server code and port is the variable we can use. And we will console log anything to see that if our server is up and running. We will use backticks in order to use app is listening on dollar. code, right? So now I would like to run this project. What is the command? We will use node app. App is the file we use, right? So now our server is up, right? I need to install these two libraries. Now let us make a database schema, right? We will name it as schema.js. So in order to use MongoDB, we will use Mongoose. Then in order to connect to our database, we use mongoose.connect. So MongoDB typically runs on the server localhost. So and the port is 27017. And then we define the name of our database. We can name it name class, right? This much is done. Now we use a variable so that if the database is not there, the database is configured on its own. We will control that connection to MongoDB was successful. Then we will make our schema. We will take a variable and make it as schema. Okay. Mongoose.schema. There were two requirements, right? All of you remember. One was name, which will be of type string, and it would be required true because we need both of them, right? Next will be our age. What is age of type? Number. Required is true. But this is our schema, right? It is ready. Next, we need to convert it to a model. Why we need this schema is it's simple. We don't want to deviate, right? Like for we know in SQL, we have a predefined schema. In NoSQL databases, we have no predefined schema. So this is like an advantage. we are making our own schema so that we don't deviate every time we have to do something. So we will name it as user model, okay, which is equal to mongoose, right? In model class, we will use it users, right? Our name of our database in which all the values will be stored. User schema. We'll add it in exports so that we can use this in other files. So here our schema is ready. Now the server is running, right? App is listening on port 3000. Our server ran and it is running up here. Now let's make some routes. So we will use a get query for this. What does a get query do? It, get queries are used to fetch some data from the table, right? There are basically four types of commands: get, post, put, delete. Delete is obvious. Why we use delete? In order to delete something from our table. Put or patch. These two are used whenever we want to update something in our database. Next is get, whenever we want to retrieve something from our database. And next is post, whenever we want to add something or find for specific things, like in get API, we want to find a user with name. So in that case, we can use a post query or a get query both. So now we are making a get query by the name /all. Okay. Now we will make a new file for all the query functions, which will be by default a JS file. Okay. So what do we do in this file? First of all, we export the model we have got. This model, right? We made our schema. So it will require, it is equivalent to importing something. What was the file name? Schema, right? Okay, that's done. Now what do? We had use exports. Why is exports used? We need to export this function in order to use it. Exports dot all user. We are naming this function all user. Okay. We have to use async here because the data from the API might be delayed. In that case, the thread is not blocked. So we use async. What is REQ here? It is the request, and RES is the response, right? Fine with everyone. Okay, let's move ahead. So anyone has any queries till now? You can post it in the chat. Participants, you can unmute and speak. Okay, no problem. Let's move. We have used a try catch block in order to catch the exceptions, right? RES is the response, REQ is the request. RES dot status, right? We use status 403, 401, 402, 404, all these in whenever our API fails. So I'm using 403. And what we will say, error. This is always a string. So error dot message. Okay. Next, we have to add something to our database. This is the category, right? So we will take a variable const, we'll create a user. When we use async, we have to use await. Whenever you will all learn more about main stack, you will get to know all these things. User model is our model. So okay, in MongoDB we will use a find query to get all the data for our API. Okay. Now basically this retrieves two things. If user dot length is greater than 0, our API will send a response 200. Why is 200 used? That the API was successfully ran. And what will be in JSON? It will be our result, which is basically user. Else, we will use a 201 status. What is 201? API ran successfully, but there is no data. So we will print a string message here. No data available, right? Is it clear, everyone? So in our app.js, we have to use this function. So what we will do, we will export this const query equals to okay query dot all user. Now you can see it is showing, and we see now we have some error, right? What is this? We didn't install Mongoose. Now what we will do? npm I Mongoose. Mongoose is installed. Let's retry. See, now the app is also functioning and the connection to MongoDB is also successful. How we will test our API is working? We will use Postman. HTTP localhost 3000 slash what was the route? All. Okay. See, we have no data in our database and the same messages shown to us. So now let's make a front end for us. We will open a new folder or can open a new window for now. We will open the terminal from here. Now, first of all, we will go to desktop. Okay. Now, ng is for Angular and new is for new project. Ng new. What will be our project name? Let's name it dummy underscore front end underscore class. Okay. We will use Angular routing and we will use CSS. So sometimes it takes around 2 to 3 minutes to load. Till that time, what we can do? We can make a post query for ourselves. What this post query will do, it will add data for us. So we will name it add. Okay. will copy this. It will be much easier for us. We will change the name, add user. Okay. Now, in order to create, we have to use create function, and in request you will send a body. I will show you right now. Okay. If user dot length is greater than 0, else try again later. API is up and down. So it's easy. Now app.js slash add query dot add user. Okay. So now we will save everything. Yeah, it is successful. Our Angular front end is being created till that time. Slash add. We will, this is a tool Postman. This is used whenever we have to add some data, right? In the, we will send name. What might be the name? Harish. Okay. And we have age. What is the age of Harish? Let's say it is 5 for now. Okay. And also let's console log this to see if it is going or not. Console log. Okay. Let's see this. You have to save it every time to make it work. Cannot get. So why do we get this error? This is a post query. So we have to use post. Result is try again. Something bad went wrong, right? Everything came in successfully here, and also we will check once to get API. There is a reach. It was some if else condition error, and the data is added. Okay. In the meantime, our front end is ready. So let's open it. It was the name front end meet class. So what is the benefit of Angular? It provides us inbuilt APIs and also a lot of support for ourselves. In source, we have a folder named app, like it app.module. In order to get data, we will import the HTTP client module. Okay, from it is available in Angular common slash HTTP. Also, we have to add it in the imports. HTTP client module. Okay, it is now fine. Also, we have to make services file. NGGS. Let's make it web request. Yeah, it is created in here, right? So, private service. We import the web service file here. Okay. No, this is the service file. So, we will import the HTTP client here. Okay, and we will take a read only. Let's look up, because we are connecting our front end to the back end, right? Okay. Now this is a read only. Okay, we will make a function. We can name it get user. It will return a response. What is actually response from our side? It will be okay. Response is equal to get. It is a get file, right? We will use backticks because we have to use a variable. Root URL slash all. Okay, this much is the response, and we will console log the response here. And this of -o runs our project. Okay. All the files we have changed. We will open developer tools. By default, Angular provides us with a beautiful UI. You can open developer tools from here. Okay. We need to call this service somewhere. Okay, we'll call it in app.component. We have to define the services file in the constructor. Okay, web request service. Now it is the, we will take our response in the life cycle. Dot services dot get user dot subscribe. Dot subscribe is used whenever we used, so that we can do something from our data, and we don't have to do anything for now. It is running, so you will see an error. What is this? This is basically course error. So now what is course? When we try to go from one origin to another, we get this error. It might take some time. So I thought you might all have got a glimpse of how we connect our front end, back end, make a database schemas. This is a running code for all of you. We just have to change a bit, and our code will be up and running. Now here is a slide. Okay, making front end ready and connecting it to back end. Next, now also we are having a hiring test from which you can get your job as a main developer. So do attend it. And now it is the time for Q&A. Thank you. So if you have any questions, you can ask or post it in the chat section. Also, yeah.
Thank you so much, Pranav. Like you explained it really well. Am I audible
Thank
to
you.
you?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So anyone, if you have any question, you can just type it down in the chat section, or if you can let us know that if you have any question, or you can email us, shoot us an email also. Any question? I guess there is no question in the chat section. I think all is clear. So just thank you so much, Pranav. I'm just explaining by Marketable, then I'll thank you. So also like uh, we are having, I just want to let all of you know about the My Gurukul initiative which we have at MyWays. So at MyWays, we have an initiative known as My Gurukul, where we have a hiring test of mean and MERN and big data. It has a good package also. So all you need to do is register for our My Gurukul program, give the test, pass the internal interview, pass the external, and you will get placed where you can also get trained over the job only. So let us know, are you interested, or you can let us know about it in chat section. Our team will send you all the details of my Gurukul testing, and also please feel free to feed feedback form. You will receive the resource kit as created by our mentor. He created a very good source kit for all of you in the mean stack. So I hope you like it. So please feel free to fill the feedback form, and also you can follow us on our social media handles so that you can get an update of this all these sessions and all these migrant initiative which we have. So please you can go and follow this all of our social media channels, or join our WhatsApp or Telegram communities. So feel free to ask any questions. Thank you so much, Pranav, for joining in and mentoring our students. We are very happy to host you today on Saturday evening.
Yeah, I'm also very happy to be a part of this session. Thank you
Uh,
everyone for listening to me.
thank you so much. Let's wrap this session because it's a Saturday evening, so everyone is very busy. So thank you so much, folks, for joining in. Thank you so much, Pranav, for giving this session, and we'll see you soon on next Saturday in further this session. Thank you so much. Signing up.